What up? It's your boy RPG. Red, purple, gold. Kilos. Panoramic roof. Bitch, I'm red, purple, gold. RPG. My strength will never fold. My height is never frozen cold. I'm the best. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 1, 2, 3. My voice has been freely sold.
Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I hope that everybody is having a fantastic day, regardless of where you are joining us from the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you so much for joining us here for episode 32 of the Artist on Artist Spotlight. And we are so excited for you to be here today. We've got a really, really special artist that we're going to bring up momentarily. But before we do that, just wanted to be able to get my little initial information and intro out of the way. But guys, we are here at episode 32 of the Artist on Artist Spotlight that is put on by Bozy World and hosted by myself, RPG, Red, Purple, Gold. Make sure and get subscribed to the Bozy World YouTube page, so that you never miss a single episode of Artist on Artist or of music reviews, Thursday throwbacks, or any of the different things that we've got going on here within the Bozy community. But also, and I'm sure you guys have been seeing the information in general, but myself or any one of the admins on the Bozy team, I'm sure you've been seeing some of the information about Halloween. And definitely, guys, that is going to be a upcoming festival that is going on in Florida. And that is coming up within the next couple of months. And it is going to be a lot of fun. Definitely go and take a look at the information either on my Instagram page or any one of the Instagram pages of any of the admins of Bozy. You can take a look at the information, see if any of the bands and artists that will be there are people you'd be interested in. And then there is also a promo code. You put in Bozy World, and then you'll also get some money off of that total cost of the ticket. So again, you guys, just as an additional thing, we're really excited about this because now we've actually got Bozy World tied to a real event, something legitimate that we can point people to. And, we will be having some members going to it as well, especially the ones that are there in the Florida area. So excited for that. I'm trying to be able to see if I can make my way there as well. But regardless of the fact, definitely take a look at that on all of our pages. You can be able to find more information on that. And if it's something you're interested in, definitely take a look and use that promo code Bozy World for some money off of that. But like I said, you guys, and what we're here for, the most important piece is the artist and the spotlight. And that's what we're here to do today, is to have episode 32 of the Artist on Artist Spotlight. And this week we've got the spotlight turned on a really special artist. So guys, put your hands together and welcome to the stage, JJ Schmitty. Schmitty, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing great, man. I'm doing so good. I'm so glad that you are here and that you are joining us. Now, guys, just letting all of you know before we get started in our normal flow today, outside of the fact that I'm really excited about, we've got Schmitty here. He's got some fantastic music that we're going to be listening to. But on top of that, I'm really proud and excited to be able to be interviewing Schmitty today because of the fact, now, there might still be some artists that we haven't gotten to yet, but this is a big piece of the Underside Records team that we have been able to interview individually on this show. So we started with Malachi Manson, then we had Baby J, and during that time, I was like, Schmitty, come on, bro, we got to get you on here. And then boom, now we finally were able to make it happen. And now we've got one of the brains behind Underside Records here with us in the house, also to do his own individual interview. And so really excited to be able to have him here today. And, just again, that feeling of like, wow, like not only have I been able to interview just you, but almost the entire team within Underside. And yet each of you guys bring such different dynamics. And that's, I think, one of the coolest things, because what you do and what Baby J does is different. And yet what you and Malachi do are different, but you guys are definitely like bringing that team dynamic. And like, I think it's really impressive to watch. And so we'll definitely talk a lot more about that tonight. But before we get started on anything, you guys know how I love to get it started is with some music, gets the energy going, get some people, you know, get the feelings up, get those hips moving, get some dancing. Now, Schmitty, I wanted to ask you, based off of, you know, what we're looking at, would you want them to start with my favorite song that is only Schmitty, or a song where it's you and a featured? What would you want to start with?
I mean, me personally, I like the one with Only Me.
Okay, done.
One with Only Me is good. The one with the feature, it's also good. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's more resonance on the first one.
Absolutely. Well, I totally agree. And guys, that first song that I wanted to be able to play for you is Rockstar Love. Now, we will be going to the corner of 10th and Music a little bit later on in the interview, and we are going to be focusing on his brand new album that just came out. Now, Schmitty, remind everybody and let them know, when was the official release date of Anonymous? When did that come out for everybody just officially?
Came out March 23rd.
Okay, 2025.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, so just really released within the last like 3-4 months. So that's awesome, because I know that, you know, you had the new album, Baby J also has the new album as well. So I mean, I love to see that. But one of the things I'm really excited about to be able to talk about is just how well the album overall is put together. I love the flow and just some of these songs. And this song to start with is my favorite song when it comes to the Schmitty only songs. And then the next one that we play in a little bit, that will be my favorite song as a feature when he actually has some of the artists come onto the, you know, different tracks that he has them on, killer songs as well. But like he said, he wants to start with his. So we are going to start with Rockstar Love. And I think for me, again, like I said, I think this is my favorite track when it comes to the Schmitty only songs. Just because I think when it comes to the brand new album, it is I love the sound of it, but it also has such a cool like theme. I really just like, it's just such a full picture that you brought together, guys. So let's press play on Rockstar Love.
What's in my pants? I say I go for it. You fly out to Japan, I'll be fucking in a foreign. Let me behind the man, yeah, you gotta pay for it. I'm a freak that broke it down, and need to break you down. I'm so depressed, I'm tired, super fast. I don't wanna die young. I take a step back and ain't got no religion. I'm my own person, got my own vision. Made a face money that's 20 years alive. I'm so depressed, I'm tired, super fast. I don't wanna die young. So depressed, I'm tired, super fast. I don't wanna die young. What's in my pants? I say I go for it. You fly out to Japan, I'll be fucking in a foreign. Let me behind the man, yeah, you gotta pay for it. I'm a freak.
All right, come on, you guys. You know how I got to do it. Just the tease, all right? Can't give you the entire song because, see, the point is that as soon as we get done with this interview, everybody, I want you to be able to be like, oh, man, I cannot believe how much I loved all of these songs that we listened to, but I didn't get to hear the whole thing, so now I've got to go check them out after the fact. So, guys, once we get done with this interview, definitely go. And Schmitty is on all platforms, which makes it easy. So no matter what your platform of choice is, you can be able to go and find him, as you can see here, JJ Schmitty, or you can also be able to find the album, this anonymous album, under the Underside Records name as well. So, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but again, this song is called Rockstar Love. So, Schmitty, give us a little bit more info on this song, just in general. How did it come together? And what was overall that theme that you were trying to get across with this song specifically?
So basically I had back in high school, there was I had a girlfriend, my ex and whatnot. She was my girlfriend. I loved her to death, but then she was just I don't know, man. It was just too much, and then she broke my heart in a way, and I had to come back from that, and I just had to figure out a way to get it out of my system. So I just made a whole album. That whole album is based on perspective, based on how she treated me, what she did, how I went about it, how I'm no longer healed. I'm still hurt. I'm still soulless in a way, but I'm still pushing on in life in a way.
Yeah. So in the sense of, okay, so now I think that kind of does make, to me, after hearing some of the songs, because, one of the things that's really nice in the sense that when with your music, there's a good core, 15, 20 songs that you have released. So it's I was able to really kind of, okay, just repeat through and through and through, but then also do that same thing with Anonymous as well. But I think there's some lines, especially some of the lines in Illness, and we'll listen to that later, that I'm oh, okay. So now you telling that story kind of fills in some of the backside of, I'm okay, now I understand what that line kind of a deeper meaning behind, where I was I just was oh, I just caught it as the line. I was oh, that's a good line. And now you say that, I'm okay, that adds so much more depth and meaning to some of those individual songs. But overall, and again, when we get to the corner of 10th in music, one of the things I do want to focus on, because I know I talked about it with Malachi, I talked about it with Baby J as well, but, kind of wanting to get a little bit more in your head and pick your brain on the cover art, and now understanding that story, did that play any role into that? But we'll get into that later. But so then, in the sense that if this, maybe a big portion of this album, or a lot of the theme of this song is kind of dealing with that idea of the breakup, was this something that was we're talking a couple months ago, this is raw, or this, it's okay, I haven't healed, but it didn't happen yesterday type of thing?
It happened 3 years ago, but
okay,
in my head, it's still there, and it's eating at me, and it's it out.
No, I feel that. Okay. So then now, if we take that idea, but then in a sense, and I think one of the pieces that I like about Rockstar Love very much is that even if you're putting that idea of the theme of what you were going through, or what some of that mindset was making the album, Rockstar Love, especially in how the song sounds, and just that name, and using love, L-U-V, as opposed to L-O-V-E, even, it feels like it has a lot more kind of up in front, happy tone, or oh, I'm trying to be oh, it's Rockstar Love, it's the lifestyle, and it's, if you're going to be, over here with me, it's that rock star type of thing. Yes. Were you also trying to kind of create that there with it as well, or was it just kind of you just called it Rockstar Love in a sense? How did you kind of meld those two?
Well, love came from my everyday language and whatnot. In my
gotcha.
Vocabulary, if I talk to someone, I'm gonna say hey love, or whatnot, or something like that.
Gotcha.
LUV is I just using that for some reason. I don't even know why. It just came about one day, and I was I'm gonna use it.
But it's almost more representative to a person, as opposed to just spelling it differently than LOVE.
Yeah, it's just in my vocabulary, and it's just what I
interesting. Use. Okay. Okay, that's cool. All right.
The word, the whole thing, Rockstar Love, I wanted it to have an aesthetic to where this is the rockstar lifestyle. Not saying I'm in a rockstar lifestyle, but this is what I vision it to be.
Totally.
That's why I made. If you listen to the song, it's kind of like, it goes along like if you visualize something, a picture, an image, listening to the song, you might get the same image.
Yeah. Well, and I think some of the aspects about it that I like that you did, and now let me know if I'm getting the lyrics correct, because some of the times, like especially with one of the things that I love about this song, especially too, is because you have some other songs that are in the same like vein of this, or they've got that same level of like intensity or energy, and they sound great. But this is one of the ones where I'm like, ooh, I love how much more forward you brought your voice. Like you're much more on top of the song, as opposed to like some of your first songs where I'm like, okay, I totally hear what you were doing, but I think that there were moments where I'm like, okay, your voice almost got lost in how intense or cool this beat was, where I loved how this song was like a killer, awesome, and intense beat, but then you've also got like your voice on top of everything where I'm like, yes, this sounds so good. I love it. But it's also got that fun style, but yet it felt like you brought in all the aspects, because one of the lines I thought I was hearing was like in the chorus, almost more so like kind of like you said, like giving that persona of the rock style lifestyle, but then saying like, oh, I also don't want to die alone. Like, is that a line you were saying in the hook?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was really cool, because it brought in that idea of like, oh yeah, the rock star lifestyle means that you can always have people around you, but do you ever also have people around you that matter, or that matter to you, or are they just there because of the rock style lifestyle? So I like that you kind of incorporated all aspects of like, hey, don't forget there's the other side of that coin that can become very lonely, maybe in a sense. And like, oh, but at the end of the day, I don't want to die alone, because there's some aspects of the rock style lifestyle that can be very like, oh, there's not a lot of people around that, maybe bring something additional to your life, as opposed to them just trying to, oh, I'm taking off of your money or your partying or your whatever. Like, so I like that you kind of incorporated all aspects of that. So let's focus on, keep focus on you, but let's talk about you as the artist a little bit, because one of the things I always like to talk about is the artist name, because I think it's really, really important. And for you, because obviously Malachi Manson, he had a really specific story about where each of those aspects came of his name. For you, is it more of pieces of like, is it just using your name, or is that an actual stage name that you use as like a moniker for yourself?
JJ Schmitty is Schmitty would be like the just the outbringing of it. Like, just people call me Schmitty, but JJ Schmitty is my artist name.
Okay.
That really came about at a party.
Be right back with him, guys.
Sorry, my brother had walked in.
No worries.
Yeah, it came about at a party where Malachi had invited me out to a show.
Okay.
Back at a venue.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his group there back before. This is way before Underside came about, and way
Mm-hmm.
before, he's the artist in Underside. He's the main artist in Underside now.
Mm-hmm.
Way before that, we don't talk to anybody like in that group anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone just went distant, went ghost, whatnot. Like I don't care about that anymore. Like it's whatever. Life moves on. But Sunny Vibes, he gave me the name Jungle Juice Schmidt, because we were talking about something, like they had these Capri Sun packages, like adult Capri Suns, and like I was like Jungle Juice, like because if you make at a party, if you go to a party, you mix in like all those liquors, and Jungle Juice, that's what he gave me, and it stuck with me. There was a time where I was called exotic, and like, man, I didn't like that. It's just simple, and it was what didn't mean anything to me. But this name means a lot to me, and it's like it has a meaning behind it.
Cool. Okay, interesting. Okay, I like that. I think that's so cool how that's such a, because I guess I was kind of under the impression like, okay, Schmitty must be a last name, or like he's kind of incorporating like, oh, a JJ, like maybe that's like, like for my like Jeremy something or whatever, who knows, like,
Yeah.
so I thought that might be more that, but Jungle Juice Schmidt. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, because when you're like, yeah, like Jungle Juice, I'm like, oh yeah. I can remember a couple hangovers in college, definitely of having a little bit too much sugary jungle juice. So I definitely know exactly what you're talking about. Love that. Okay, so then now, how long have you been going by that moniker? Like, has that been a long time, or has that just been in the last couple of years?
It's been this year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Beginning of this year, because I made a switch. I made a switch to like to be more serious in the music making, because as right now I don't really currently make music anymore, like make songs.
Yeah.
I will curate like a beat, I will curate events, I will make promotions, whatnot for art. Now I just don't see myself as making music anymore.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just, like, it's really just I still keep the stage name and artist name just as just keep my songs up there, but I just don't really find myself enjoying making music anymore.
Okay, interesting. Okay, and now so let's take that to another step. That's really interesting. So, in the sense, has that been something that's happened since the release of Anonymous, or was that also kind of like leading up to the release of that album overall? Oh, really? Okay,
So,
interesting.
The drop for Anonymous was that's my last album.
Cool.
It was, I promoted it as my last album and my last like little hiatus. Not saying like last. It's just a long hiatus in a way.
Totally.
Just to keep grind out and keep Underside going and like trying to put it up as a whole company.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that, and not that I specifically was going to be, bringing this part of the conversation in right now, but I think the transition, you just set up so perfectly, so why not? But I think that is really, really cool, because I think one of the things that I'm the most impressed about, with you individually is that idea that like you have kind of like made some pretty big decisions within the last year or so, in the sense of like, you are really wanting to take on that role of like, okay, I want to see the name of Underside become more, and not, like you said, like focus on my individual artistry to the same extent, but that by me focusing more on Underside overall, even if maybe I'm not making, 20 of my individual songs, like you're still helping curate beats, you are helping curate the name of Underside. Yes. And then trying to be able to help grow that. So was there anything specific, like an event that happened or a set of circumstances or anything that kind of led up to moving and making that change and kind of want more of that focus to be over there? Or was it just kind of like, oh, I've always wanted to do that, and then I just have done music on top of it?
It's more of seeing the people around me and seeing them make music, and me making music as well, with no back end to helping out promote, and just a person on just specifically like promotion. I see. I made this decision like a few months ago.
Oh,
and
cool.
Was just like I'm gonna step away from making music and just focus straight on management and aspect and the owner aspect of the business.
Cool. Okay, so then let me ask you this again. Let's take that to another level. From that point, and again, and not that this has to be like, I'm not like, oh, hey, you have every single answer, or like, hey, but just for you individually, what are some of the biggest aspects up to this point that you've learned that you've either incorporated into a plan to help grow that name of Underside, and or what are some of those backside plans of some things that you've learned within the last couple months, like making that shift, now having this be the focus? Like, what are some of those things that you've kind of like now wanting to put more into your like next year, like forward thought, and like really focus on in the sense of growing underside? Like, what are some things that you've learned within the past couple months that you really want to try to incorporate?
Well, I've learned a lot about like just being clear,
Okay.
being like persistent, and having
Yep.
quality work over like quantity in a way, because you can have a lot of songs in your vault and it be like just those songs are gonna get old and then you're not gonna hear them the same anymore. So like
Totally.
create some quality songs that you'll like forever and release those as, you know, as a tape or whatever. You have so much. But I've learned a lot over the years and over like the past 2 years and months of me actually going into this. Just having patience, really.
Totally.
Because nothing comes within an hour, within a day. It takes time, and some people die out on it because they expect to be famous in a split second once their song blows up, and it never ends like that. You have to like, it takes time.
Totally. No, I agree. Well, and I think that, you know, one of the difficult things in a sense is that it's like, you know, that is such a hard thing, especially in the sense of like, the younger you are and the more forward thought you have to put into it is like a lot of, oh, okay, where do I put that energy? And then how much am I willing to not see a lot of like results, but understanding that I'm like future proofing myself. Like I have to build the foundation from something, you know? So I think that that's really cool. And like, that is important because I think that, and I think that, you know, no matter who you are, the idea of wanting more instant gratification is, you know, always an issue. But I think that, you know, the younger that you are, maybe it's more like, oh, it's either harder to see that not wanting the instant gratification, or more harder to be able to see like, oh, what you are building, even the foundation is what you're doing, and you're the only one that sees it. Like, because sometimes a lot of that work you're going to be doing is behind the scenes and nobody's ever going to know that you did it until that time where it's like, oh, now I get to be given the whole story of Underside and let me tell you about all of the other stuff.
Well, that's why I kind of like take on artists, because like artists, you can use artists to help promote yourself. Like for instance, Malachi, like me and him have worked on several different songs, projects, not together, but in general, like just engineering him in the studio and just making these projects. You like using your resources like an artist to help you push your brand and help, because if they're good, people are gonna see the brand as like, they're gonna see them as a good brand because they took in someone or something like that.
No, I mean, that's very well said. You're 100% right. I mean, because it is definitely about that idea. Like now you're half and half, like in the sense that you're not wrong, but I think that there is an extent that at the beginning, you know, it is almost to a piece like amount of content, total content. Like, hey, I'm always coming up with something. But to your point that you're 100% right on is that even if you are trying to push content, the content still has to be at a certain quality level. And if you are automatically, like you as Schmitty, stating from the beginning, we are going to put out the best type of content and the most high level content, even if what we're trying to do is push a lot, it is always going to look the best, so that when people, like you said, correlate that name of this individual song to Underside, the correlation is that it is very high quality, very good sound, but yet the full meal deal. And I think that that's one of the things I find the most impressive about you, from the sense of that when I see the things that you post, especially some of the marketing that you've done individually for Underside, you know, I have used in multiple things, your marketing that you did about your and Malachi's little, chops that you did with each other, where you're talking about, hey, you want to be a part of Underside, blah blah blah, and you bam, chop him. And at first I was like, what is happening right now? And yet I'm like laughing my ass off. So I'm like, regardless, I'm like, this is so like, this is having an effect and in a really good way, because I'm laughing, but now I actually want to know more about Underside. But now I want to know what these two are doing. Like, what is this weird, like hitting each other thing that they're doing? And then I think it was Malachi or Louis or somebody was like, oh, it's a wrestling thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay.
Just wrestling.
Exactly. And I love that. I'm like, that's so funny. And yet the people that love wrestling, they'll know it immediately. So it's more like you're connecting, because I know you and Malachi love the wrestling side. So it's like you're connecting with something you already love. So you're going to put time into it. And yet it's something that you kind of get to just add in. People that love to watch wrestling, maybe they are going to see this, and maybe if they like wrestling, they're probably going to like this kind of music too. Boom, 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 boom. A plus B equals C. It's like that 3D level of chess. But I love the fact that you do seemingly think at that level. And I think that's really impressive. So for you, what are some things that you have found either this worked really well, or I was able to find some improvements on this and try to make it even better in regards to, marketing and putting stuff out about Underside? What are some things that you have coming out, or some things that you're trying to work on that are like bringing that to an even bigger level?
I don't really I don't know, man. In general, I just come out with whatever comes right to mind, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Okay, nice.
Like whatever creative idea I think about, I push through that, and I'm like, okay, how can I make this a picture in my head, and how can I put it on paper, then put it on video?
Gotcha. Okay, nice. I like that. Okay, cool. And so now, in the sense of for you and for the idea of Underside as a whole, not in any way of like trying to, say, oh, hey, this area is not as good, it needs work. But from your side and understanding Underside more from a foundational level and seeing it from a larger picture vantage point, but also in the middle of it, what are some areas in the sense for you that you really want to work on within maybe the next 6 months or a year, that you're like, okay, if there's some big areas where I know I can bring like immediate improvement, or like, oh, if we just go 10% more of this, the backside, amount of new stuff coming in from that, like, what are some of those things for you that you really want to try to focus on? Not in the sense of like, oh, you think that they're not good, but more so, where can I just bring that immediate improvement and see, just quick and easy wins right off the bat? Like, what are some of those ideas that you've got?
Definitely marketing is number one.
Okay.
We have a lot of music. We have tons of music. Malachi's music folder on the laptop is 20 gigabytes.
Wow.
And at this moment it is 20 gigabytes, and that's taking up probably half the drive.
Wow.
But other than that, we have enough music to push a marketing aspect if we had an idea.
Yeah.
We put some money into ads and then push that. Second, I'll probably think about just exposure, and just putting ourselves more out there.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. I like that. Well, and I think that that's really smart. And I think that, for me individually, one of the things I would say that is an area that I know I definitely need to get better at. And I think that one of the things that you guys have already clearly passed certain aspects, in the sense that, hey, okay, I know that, what was it? December is when Malachi's got his next show coming up, or is it before that?
Well, that's unannounced right now at the moment.
Okay.
But it will be announced soon. Something it will be announced.
Okay, gotcha. Well, but and not in the sense of that specific show, but more so that because you guys are doing shows, like you have that aspect to get that set up.
Well,
And so one of the things that I would say for me, that's an area where I am definitely lacking, where I'm not really putting in enough effort of trying to be able to find venues or more consistent venues where I can be able to say, oh, I'm always playing here. Or if they have people that are going to be coming in, oh, hey, I'm going to be one of those people on that list. So at least it's like, oh, hey, maybe it's not every week, but since I have known you guys, I've at least seen that you have put real effort and you have seen success in doing shows either, within some of those other people that you were working with, a few years ago, or, right now with just Baby J, Malachi and you. So I think from that aspect, it's like, okay, hey, it's not every day. It's not like we have it just on blast and ready to go, but we've at least gone down that pathway and we understand certain areas of how to kind of like navigate, in a way.
yeah.
So for you, and, again, kind of still keeping on that theme of like underside as, the whole piece and you focusing on the bigger picture, when it comes to more of that exposure, like what are some things that you are putting down in like a, either just a vision board or, hey, okay, here's my layout and my outline of like, we're going to start here. And then, with exposure, we're going to try to do these things or that. Like, what are some of those ideas that you had in regards to help bring more of that exposure for you?
I just thought of a theme, really. Like, the themes you see in my reels now, you see 2025 pop up a lot with the like upside down like, exclamation point. Or
Okay.
That's really, I just have a lot of like, that's the theme I was going for, like especially for this next show that's coming up. Those are teasers for the show, but it's not directly pointing towards the show yet. I'm trying to get people like on board with like what we're doing and what's going to happen in the next few months. And
absolutely,
probably next month, not gonna lie, it's probably going to be announcement time.
Nice.
That more.
Okay.
So definitely theme wise, we've got that down. We just need to work more on just marketing and like getting it more out there, like more audience, not just to our followers, like to our non-followers, to people.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. I mean, I love the fact that it seems like the foundational pieces you're working on, the outline and just kind of like that template that you've got built up. It definitely sounds like you've got some good stuff that you're working on. And, one of the things, and I talked about this, maybe a little bit more specifically with Baby J than with Malachi, but, again, I think that one of the aspects that I've always been really impressed with, at least just in general with like, and not in the sense of like, is it exactly what I would do or is it exactly what everybody would do? Like, no, maybe they would have different ideas or their styles, or, their colors or whatever would just be different types. But one of the things that I have been really impressed with, like watching Underside and just seeing you as an artist, Malachi as an artist, Baby J as an artist, but in general, you kind of collecting that whole, is that you've done a good job of like really creating a very specific look and an artistic style and just a general like, hey, this is the overall like foundational look, the sound, pieces of what overall the whole vision of what Underside, represents. And I think, for you have probably the most voice manipulation. And I love how much you tweak and really bring in all different like ranges and factors within your voice, but that you really tweak it a lot and really try to bring in a very specific sound. And I love that. Baby J, has a totally more like, hey, I'm going to be the R&B sexy guy. And like, I'm going to bring in more of that smooth, not crooning, but comparatively to you and Malachi, he's the crooner. And then Malachi definitely bringing in much more of like the dark side, like much more of just that, hey, not everything horror themed, but just, just more in that, in that Vogue type of range. And then you are kind of like, not maybe right in the middle, but you really bring in aspects of all of it. So that's one of the things that I've been the most impressed with, is just seeing a very consistent look of, oh, I know what Underside is. Don't ever have to be worried. Like, anybody that comes into this will be coming into a full meal deal, a full picture. Was that all of you guys working as a team that came up with that? Or was that kind of you, like, here's all the stuff I have back here that I think is going to look good, and then you presented it to them? Or was it kind of all a team collaboration?
It is definitely a team collaboration. That's all I'm about, really, because I bring minds together in a way. I try to. And make many ideas become one idea. And
totally. Ooh, I love that. Love that. Okay, so now let's shift gears really quick. Let's pop into some music again. All right, so guys, Schmitty wanted us to start with his best song that I thought was my favorite, just for the Schmitty song. So now we're going to switch gears, go to the other side of that coin, and we're going to do the best Schmitty song with the feature on there. And now, we had talked about this prior to, going live and being here with you guys, but my favorite song when it comes to a feature is called Phantom, featuring Malachi Manson. Now, he has some other features on there, but the ones that were my favorite were the ones with Malachi Manson. And again, I think when we listen to it, you guys will be able to hear it, because again, kind of that talk we were just having, like, Baby J, Schmitty and Malachi each bring their own thing, but when they come together and they kind of bring that sound and mold it, like, it's a beautiful thing after the fact. So let's take a listen to Phantom featuring Malachi Manson. And this is the final song on the album, and probably for me, probably my favorite song, or tied right there with Rockstar Love. It just depends. Am I in my only want to hear Schmitty, mode, or am I want to hear him with somebody else mode? So this is the feature favorite, Phantom, featuring Malachi Manson. So let's take a listen.
Can't see me, I'm a phantom, holding your body for ransom. Can't take no for an answer. Me and my mind are like tandem, hit them with the cannon, blow tantrum. Turn to gamma, I cannot see shit. Static in my mind, it's like an endless abyss. Waiting for the world to fall apart, and I'm again. Still got Henny in my bottle, and I'm ready. Got a pity for the will, the wish it well. It's your love, I'm in hell, control myself. I can never sell my soul. Me and my phantom, holding your body for ransom. Can't take no for blow tantrum. Blow tantrum.
In the abyss, I dwell with my demons in the under. Can't over this shit, I'm stuck in a plunder. Sounding out unconscious, I'm stuck in a slumber. My life critical, forget my comatose. Fucking up the pill, little bitch, I'm my overdose. Fade out like a phantom, yo, I'm going cold. Fade out like a phantom, yo, I'm going cold. Fucking up the pill, little bitch, I'm my overdose. Fade out like a phantom, yo, I'm going cold. Fade out like a phantom, yo, I'm going cold.
All right, guys. So I wanted to give you a little bit more of the full idea of that song, not because I wanted to play the whole thing for you, but because I wanted to be able to, show you just, again, that dynamic when you hear, what Schmitty brings at the beginning, and then how Malachi kind of comes in, and I love that song because I love how powerful it is. I love their dynamic is my favorite on that. But on Illness, though, which is one that we'll listen to in a little bit later as well, I love when, I love how much, they both allow themselves 100% of anything they want to do. And I think some of the lyrics that he has on Illness is incredible. And I love this song as well. But again, just that dynamic between the two of you, I think is amazing. So for you, Schmitty, is there anything that you do differently, like for your process or just for your general flow when you're working with an artist, not just specifically Malachi, but just in general, anything that you do differently, when you are trying to work, on a song that has a feature like this, as opposed to something like Rockstar Love, where it's just only you? Anything that changes within your process?
Not really, no. It's the same process for every song.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So then for this song, what was there anything specific, like, give me a little bit of the background of this song and kind of how it came about.
It's been a minute since this project dropped, to be honest. But there's not really a meaning behind this song.
Okay.
It's just whatever I was thinking at the time. I just wrote some lyrics, and I just put it down on vocals and on FL Studio. And then
nice. Okay. Well, and I think that was one of the things with this song that I really did like, because, there are some songs, and not just specifically with you or with anybody directly, but just in general, when you hear them, it's more like you can almost tell that like that mindset or that stream of consciousness was almost random, and that it felt like it just kind of came together in a way. This one had that feeling, but yet the end result didn't feel like it was random. Like it felt like, especially how you brought the lyrics together, like, oh, I'm a phantom, homie for ransom. Da, ba, 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 ba. I'm like, yes, man, like that's but those lines, how you brought them together, I thought were really, really well put together, in the sense where I'm like, it had this sense and this feeling of like, ooh, wow, like this has got a good, like it's got a good tone, it's got a good theme. Like I really like how we brought this song together. And I like the chorus. I thought the hook was really catchy. And again, your dynamic was, I think, really, really good, but yet on a much more hypey level where, when we listen to Illness later, it's a great song, but it's more on like a darker level, to where it's like, you are going to, or at least for me individually, like I love listening to it, but I might not listen to it like 10 times in a row, because it's got more of that like darker, not morose, but just kind of like, okay, in a sense, like for Phantom, makes me almost want to go out more and club more. And, on that song, it's more like, okay, now I'm going to contemplate more and I'm going to get more in my feelings, as opposed to this is kind of like, oh, it's still a little bit hypey. Like I can still keep that energy up to an extent. So that's one of the reasons that I love this song. But I also really like your dynamic, because I think you and Malachi do work together really well. And when I was hearing the other songs that you did and the other features that you've had, I think he's my favorite, because I think your dynamic really comes together the best, or at least the most full and whole, where I'm like, yes, their thing together creates the best picture, than some of the other ones. Or then like, even like for Rockstar Lover, I'm like, yes, that's such a good song. But you get that added energy of that other artist on there, can definitely, be able to help enhance in as well. So I really like that. And I really like your dynamic together again. But for you, when you're putting this album together, was there anything in the sense like, oh, I want to have this many features when I release it, and I want to work with Malachi this many times? Or did it just kind of come about that, like, hey, you had, 2 or 3, I think, songs with him on there, but overall, the whole album was put together really well. Like, what was that thought process when the actual album was being put together?
It was definitely, most definitely, it was a group effort. I mean, me and Malachi, we just work on. He's mainly the only artist I work with feature-wise. I don't really have any features with anybody else.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. Well, and I think now, question for you then: is there anything in the works? And doesn't have to, give us any info, but just maybe yes or no. Anything with Baby J that you two are working on?
Not at the moment, but
okay,
for the foreseeable future, there will be, collabs and more along the lines with Baby J and a bunch of other members.
Nice. Okay, sweet. Good. Love that. Because, and just on a secondary side, and just for you guys, and you know, this isn't maybe with every individual or whatever, but it's like, hey, one of the things that is an added benefit to doing these interviews is the fact that because I am putting in like that I make it very important to me to really deep dive within the music. And like, you know, for somebody like Schmitty, where it's like I said, like he's got like these core like 20 songs out. So it's like I can just keep repeat. And you really get in the weeds and you're really able to live with the music for a long time. And, you know, I love, you know, this album. I love how much you put it together. And, you know, like I said at the beginning, like, you know, hearing your singles and now hearing this full project, I'm like, yes, I love to hear the full project because that takes work too. You know, how many singles are you going to want to put on there? How many people are you going to want to, you know, feature and work with on the album? And how much is just going to be you, you know, what is that percentage? How much of that effort are you going to put into, oh, I want to work with 3 separate artists or whatever it might be. And I love, again, like I said, how the album was put together and just, you know, what the work you put in on it. But again, I think, you know, seeing the fact that you have taken a step back from the artistry side, maybe a little bit more specifically to focus on Underside. But yet when I listen to the music and I listen to Anonymous directly, I'm like, okay, like I get it and good for you. Like it's a big decision and maybe for you it wasn't one. I don't know. But I am such an artist where I know for me to really kind of step away from the artistry and then kind of want to focus more on a thing that puts me in the spotlight, but more on the backside. Like, oh, I'm not the artist. I'm not Malachi. Like, I'm not the one where it's like, hey, you know what most people are going to think of when they're going to think about Underside? They're going to probably think about Malachi. They'll think about Baby J. And you are Underside. Like, in the sense of like, hey, I represent also part of the name and not just an artist within that. But like I help bring this whole piece together or like help create it to be bigger than just Malachi by himself or just Baby J with nothing else other than just, you know, the brand new album and that's it. So I think that it's all of those things put together that really brings apart like, oh, wow, that's why you're going to a different level. Or at least, hey, has it gotten everywhere you want it to be yet? Maybe not. But look at the steps you've already done and look at what you've already done up to this point. And those are real accomplishments that you can look to and be like, all right, I've done that. And now that I've done that and I'm standing on that foundation, but what do I now do after this? And I think that's one of the coolest things when I see what you're doing where I'm like, wow, yeah, like, but I can see it. So it's more like it is active and you're doing something, but it is in their face enough where it's like, oh, you're succeeding in that. Like, and that's really impressive. So for the making of this album and kind of understanding that, okay, maybe we won't hear a lot of individual Schmitty songs and that more of that focus is going to be on this. Do you still think we'll hear you on a lot of the artist albums? Like, oh, you know, we'll probably hear a couple songs on the next Malachi album with you on there. Or are you really kind of putting 95% of that focus all on just Underside and not really be involved in any music at all? Schmitty, are you there with us? Just checking to see if he might have froze. Bear with me a moment, guys. Let me pull up. Just remove him down there really quick in case that was anything. And also, Schmitty, if you can't hear me, possibly just remove the video for a few minutes and let the buffer catch up. Sometimes that can't help. Okay. So let me press play on some music really quick. Looks like he might have lost his connection, but let me play another song that I wanted to be able to show you guys. This is another one of the Schmitty only songs. This song is called Saturn. And one of my other really cool songs that I love on this album, because I think this is probably the most, in a general way, probably the most like, oh, he was really trying something with this. Like he was trying to maybe push his own envelope and see, what he could do differently. And I really like what he did with this song. Again, this song is called Saturn. Let's press play.
I'm truly Saturn, couldn't make you sadder. Rings on my mind, I can hear your laughter. Hey, you always in my head. Intrusive thoughts, that's shit. I'm bad shit, crazy, lame motherfucker from the bastard. Craving, Christian love was everlasting. That's a maybe. Not for real, I'm just lazy. I want a lady that wanna raise with me. That baby wanna age with me. I put it in the past like I'm just a guy that wanna roll. But in a dream, cause I'm really hard to solve. Never over with, my mind's racing. When it gets a labyrinth, it's high, I'm chasing. Lately, sedated, lonely, and my feelings in the early age. I miss your cadence. Stop. Drop all this nonsense, I'm a fall, cause it's gonna kill me. I will let you talk, tell me how you're feeling. Waste your feelings, now I'm higher than the ceiling. I don't know how to close, got the weather wind blows. Open my doors, cause the devil on the lows. Hang in the spots and watch me hang from the nose. I chose my fate, it's closed.
And again, guys, that's one of the, like, I love how much more experimental that one sounded, and not that the other ones weren't experimental sounding or just in the general way, but I love Saturn for that reason as well. Just because it really, I love how it's like your voice almost took us on like 3 full separate, like, oh, really, really high, really, really like with that ting, but like, no, I don't want to die. No, like, like I love that part, but then you kind of bring it into more of like the general, Schmitty sound, maybe more what we heard, from the last song, from Phantom, and then also bringing in this like third distinct aspect too. So I really liked that, again, just kind of feeling at least a little bit more like that song was a little bit more experimental, with Saturn, and I love that aspect with it. But, okay, now remind me just to make sure, because I didn't want to lose any conversation or flow. Yeah, what up, Malachi? Any flow on anything right before your phone had overheated. What was it that we were right in the middle of?
Remember,
Yeah, we're talking about y'all were basically talking about like the up and coming like ins and outs, the backgrounds of like the late.
okay, like the background and ins and outs.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay, yes. So let's get back to that since they got to hear another song. We just took a listen to Saturn. But let's get back to that album, because in a sense, yes, and thank you, Malachi, so much. The last question that we were talking about was for you, the music. Do you think you are going to be basically like 95% only just underside, or do you think we'll still see you as like features on like Baby J's albums, like, Malachi's albums? Like, will you still be putting your voice out there sometimes? Or is it going to be like, hey, we'll hear you once a year on music stuff too?
I mean, it'll come and go as it as it does.
Nice.
But I mean, I see myself on features with like them and stuff, whatnot.
Yeah.
Just my own music, not so much, because I don't know, I just can't get it. Like I've burned myself out, to be honest. And it's like so much on my brain to make a song now. It's like, ugh. I just forgot how to do it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think that there's some aspects that I agree with you in the sense that there's pieces, it's like riding a bike. Like, you'll never lose it.
Yeah.
But what you can lose for it is the drive. You're right about that 100%. Or just the energy, the will, like maybe, because I don't think you maybe ever lose the inspiration. Because even if you didn't maybe if you don't have the same level of energy to do the music, you definitely didn't lose the inspiration to keep this going. Like, so the inspiration maybe moved away from the creativity of creating the music, but yet you're just moving that energy and then moving it into, this is how I take that same like push and that same drive and then just turn that into the drive of pushing forward and moving forward the name and building that idea of Underside, and not just focusing on like, oh, my individual artistry or my individual, aspect to this one piece of it, which is really cool because I think, and I was saying too, a very big and very like mature decision, to try to say, I'm not going to push myself to the point of breaking to try to do it all, which, hey, okay, I know Baby J was just turning 21. Are you also just like 21-ish, or are you more like Malachi, like 24, 25-ish?
I'm almost there.
Okay. So then, like, in a general way, like, just from that piece, like, it just might be more general, especially like, hey, for a young male, like, I'm just going to do it all. Yep, I've got the energy. Boom. I can do the music. I can create the Underside. I can, boom, do everything. But I think for you to make the decision of, I'm going to put this to the side, take away that focus, put it over here, but then still sprinkle it in every once in a while because that's not gone, is an important decision to make, because it shows that you are putting your own like ego aside and saying, let me change that and move that energy of that ego. And I don't mean ego in like a bad way, but just ego in of like,
I mean,
we're taking that focus off me and I'm putting that energy into how do I make Underside the focus, and then that is as much tied to me as anything else. I think that's really cool. And that shows some legitimate maturity, especially in the sense of you could easily have made a different decision and yet you didn't. So it's that's really cool.
To be honest, I've thought about like the music ways and whatnot. Like I thought about, like, this happened, like, for me to step in music happened in 2018 with my brother. He's an artist as well, but he's also a producer. He helped me out with a bunch of my music stuff. He's actually my inspiration and what brought me into music. And I've thought about music in general.
Yeah.
And what I would be without it. It's not like an addiction. It's just a lifestyle for me. And like, I don't know what else I would choose besides music now. Like in my head, it's all music, and it's like, nothing else. And I can't think of another way out, like another way.
No, I agree. 100%. I mean, it was funny. I was having a conversation with my coworker after I had gotten done with kind of all of the marketing off of my last album. And I mean, once I had gotten done with that month and I knew internally that I could be able to set it down, like, it was the most biggest change to the other side, to where it was like, oh, I just wanted to just put everything down. Like, not in the sense of like, oh, I didn't want to do anything anymore, but like, I didn't have like the energy or the will to be like, oh, now let me automatically get back into the studio because I haven't been making music for 15 minutes, or
as
like, it's crazy.
Because the normal people that aren't artists, in my opinion, they don't see the work, they see the art. And breaks are very important in it, because like, even though people don't see that work, but in reality, you put in that work, you put in those hours, and you have a reason to have a break. You know what I mean?
And it is true. It is true. But like, to your point though, where that's where the tough part comes in at, because you're right. It's like an addiction. Like, I mean, it is like a thing that because my coworker was like, oh, well, yeah, but now you get to take a break. And I'm like, take a break to what? What do you mean? Like, okay, I already like watch movies or play video games or like, play sports or like go and hang out with like my fraternity brothers and whatnot. But like, if you're saying take a break from this to do what? Like, I spend so much time and energy, or just in general, like you were just saying, like the amount of hours that you put in to make this happen on the backside that they don't see. Like you just be like, oh, just go do something else. What do you mean? That's like telling somebody with a kid, oh, just go love something else more than your kid.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
even play video games. I don't even do anything besides music. Like video games,
wow.
play. I mean, every once in a while I play Fortnite, but like I delete it every now. Delete it after I play like a few games. And then
Yeah.
but,
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, now let me ask you a question more in the sense of maybe not future state of more of like the tangible brick and mortar what Underside is, but let's go a little bit more like future state, but like let's go Robin Leach it type of thing and say, if I could be able to create the best of the best of like this was what I would love to see as my end result fully realized, what would you like? Would you want to see, Underside as like a full big label, more for Underside, like, or not Underside, like more underground artists? Like, what would be your biggest goal and like want to see with this in the end? Oh boy. Uh-oh. Okay, I bet his phone just overheated again because that's what he told me before and it just left. Okay, let me hit him up. Let me hit him up with a quick message again. If not, oh, yes, we got him back. Nice. Okay, actually, let me move. There we go. Nice. I'm like, oh boy, it must have overheated again. We lost him.
Okay, back to what we were talking about. I had it.
Oh no, yeah. So future state for you, but maybe not realistic. Like, let's talk more like, hey, what you get to see everything you want to realize at its nth degree. What do you want to see Underside become? Like a big label that tries to work with big artists, more underground people? Like what would be your final realization of what Underside could be?
Well, basically, I don't really find myself as a label though.
Okay.
The word label nowadays is a bad thing.
Touche.
People get drowned in a label, and they sell their soul into the label to get a front of money that's not theirs. And people don't understand. They see the money, they're like, oh, money. But now I see I want to be more of entertainment, like, and the more of I want to watch my artists like perform their songs, create reels and music videos for them. I want to be on the entertainment side. They give people something to watch. More
gotcha. Okay, so that platform for people to have that ability to be like, okay, well, hey, now I have that backing from something like what you're doing, but more so almost in the sense of like, I get to be like that best type of manager, but yet maybe not as much so like, oh, I'm also like, building this into a massive corporation or something like that. Okay, interesting. I like that. Okay, so trying to be a little bit more curated, individually to the artist or, to what they're doing and just trying to be able to help make that more. I like that. Okay, cool. Nice. I like that. So for expansion wise, where would you want to see like how many artists would be like your like, because right now you have Malachi is your focus, you've got Baby J. I mean, like, how many people would you love to see as like, oh, I've got this artist that is kind of like connected to Underside, like blah blah blah, like like would you want to see as many as you could have, or more like a team of like a core like 5 or 6 that are really all that collective and type of like everybody's trying to do things to make the name bigger?
I would say like having like 5 or 6 people for real, because having a whole team not only would be hard, But
Yeah.
also we'd have all those people that it's 50-50 with people with egos and whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
people get fame and they just disappear on other people because they think they're better than everybody else. Like, with those 5 to 6 people, it's easier to maintain, and it's less minds that have to go against each other.
Yeah, and then
That's very true.
If I can say
No, yeah.
that too real quick, it's like we really don't. I mean, I will go out of my way to work with people that I'm not familiar with, but at the same time, I'm really trying to keep it close knit with who we work with, especially when it comes to like the engineering side. We have a few other homies that we work with who are local and stuff like that. And then as far as like doing collabs with like, you know, people online, it's mainly people that I'm working with in Boise and like just really trying to keep everything like close knit, close circle shit. Like
absolutely.
It's good to
Yes,
have
and
a broad spectrum of connections.
No, absolutely. I think that's the really good way to look about it. And you had reminded me of something that I had started to mention earlier. And then, you know, I think it was either maybe the first time where, you know, Schmitty's phone had, you know, overheated, but just in general that it's like, you know, such a consistent look within already what you've created, but just so excited to just see where it goes in a general way. But just, you know, understanding that you are such a piece of that glue that like, okay, not only are you, you know, not in the sense of like, oh, I'm the only thing holding it together, but more so like, hey, I am, you know, the sticky piece that brings on more aspects that helps build it and grow it. And I think that's really cool. And you guys are doing it very smartly. You know, it seems coordinated. And hey, is every single step going to work? Maybe not, but you are building the foundation well enough that I'm like, okay, hey, who knows where you guys will be in a year or two? Like, who knows? You know, and I think that's the thing that's the most impressive. Like, I don't just look at what you're doing and be like, yeah, they won't be here in 6 months. Like, nope. You know, I think that's been one of the most impressive things. But let's shift gears. Let's listen to another song again. And let's listen to one of the ones that's just a Schmitty only song again. But this is also, at least when I was looking at the numbers specifically for YouTube Music, because usually whenever I'm doing one of these interviews and I know that the artist is on all platforms, then I will have that focus be on YouTube Music so that I know, A, we won't have to worry about getting any ads, but also, B, that's my main platform that I utilize. And so it's more like, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking at. I can understand, you know, okay, boom, let's go find Schmitty, pull him up. And then I'll always just go and look and see, well, based off of this platform, how many plays, like how many people are listening to the music. And this song is the biggest song that he has got based off of YouTube Music specifically. And so whenever I see that too, I'm also like, you know what? Let me see what the people are telling me is their favorite song and then listen to it. And even though I had heard this one, I hadn't made that like connection that, oh, this is also the most played based off of YouTube Music. And so this song is called Gotta Go. And it's a really, really cool song. It's going to be a little different than what we've heard up to this point to today. It is definitely much more high energy, much, not even like a bigger sound, but there's aspects of it that are much different than what we listen today. But then, you know, overall, like what you do with your voice, everything is also familiar, but it's definitely different on this song than what you've done on the previous ones that we listened to. And that's one of the things that I loved about listening to your music, where I was like, wow, we actually get a really good range of music, all within still of your lane and your style. But yet you do deliver within that a good, like, oh, wow, you really kind of do go all over the board and show us a lot of different styles and bringing in different concepts and what you were trying to do. So again, you guys, this song is called Gotta Go. And let me actually get back here because that's not on Anonymous. This is off of Cyber Attack. And again, you guys, just press play. This is called Gotta Go. All right, everybody. So that song is called Gotta Go. And that is off of the Cyber Attack project. And I really do love that song. Again, like I said, this was his, at least based off of, YouTube Music, this was his most played song. So I just wanted to be able to see, like, hey, what are the people telling us? What are their favorite one that they are playing more than any of the others? This was that one. And so I really do like that song because, again, it's a totally different vibe than any of the other ones, but it's really fun. It is a lot of energy. It's a great thing. And so now, guys, I'm going to play one more, and I'm going to play the final one that I wanted to showcase today, just to be able to give Schmitty a little bit more time to let his phone, cool down. If we get to the end of this one and he's still not back, then I think I might just end it here and just be like, hey, you know what? We'll be able to, maybe get round 2 of this set up later down the road. And then, we can be able to get to some of the other things that we didn't maybe totally get to today. But we definitely have gotten through a lot of great information. I'm really happy with some of the stuff that, with all of the information that he was able to give, but we definitely got through a lot of great information tonight. But again, thank you for everybody that did stop by today. I really appreciate everybody's love and support. And hopefully you also enjoyed the music that you heard today. Again, JJ Schmitty on all platforms, if you want to be able to go and find his music after this interview today. But let's take a listen to the final song that I wanted to play for you guys. And this is one of the other ones that is a featured song on the album. The song is called Illness, featuring Malachi Manson. And this one is in the similar vein to what we heard with Phantom, in the sense of, like, it starts off with Schmitty coming in, doing his part, and then it kind of ends with Malachi doing his part, but a higher, more energy level with Schmitty, and then ending it with kind of this lower, monotone, very cool, like, oh, definitely opposite. Like, we're going the antithesis of what we're seeing within the song and how the sounds could be within the voices, all within a couple minute track. So I always like this part as well. But when I was listening to the lyrics on this one, I really, really like some of the lyrics that Malachi has on this song, where it's like, I really loved Phantom, but some of his lyrics got a little, not lost in the sense of the song, but more so like this one had lyrics that just stuck out more to me, where I was like, ooh, that's a good line. Dang, that's cool. So let's play that final song. Again, this is called Illness, featuring Malachi Manson. Let's press play.
Yeah. I'm tripping so hard I can see all the freaks. Watch how you're moving, I can hear you creep. Crossing the scene cause you won't pay your fee. I'm a Papa Tony. They gon' kick my toe in. I'm in my mind floating, I'm drawn, I'm zombies. I'm in my path for the low end. Taking my time with these bitches, gotta focus. I'm soaking in it while y'all playing pretend. I'm only productive if you pocket my zen. Undecided. That's on my home, change your tone. You gave me an illness I cannot get rid of. Ain't at your building, but I ain't got guts. That's on my home, change your tone. You gave me an illness I cannot get rid of.
Ain't at your building, but I ain't got guts. Tripping as far, always down on myself. Stuck in the underside, I'm bound to this hell. See my dumb eyes clearly, see it very well. Been had a death wish through my wishes in the well. I guess it's all fair, that's the game to play. Switch back to the main frame. Stuck in the final stage, can't get to the next level. Stuck in the shit, it's a never-ending battle. Talking to the voices in my head, all they do is rattle. Is it really worth it? Does it really matter? I can't see the bigger picture. My vision is splattered, just like my brain's on the pavement. I can't pave my way, I'm being patient. Trying to find my demise, I know it's coming close. I've been zoning off kilograms right. I've been overdoing it. I've been zoning to a new high.
Yes. So again, you guys, that song was called Illness, featuring Malachi Manson. But again, just to reiterate, within that idea, I love that song because, again, I love that dynamic between that much more aggressive, much more darker, monotone type of sound that Malachi can bring, mixed in with Schmitty's much more energy, much more kind of like, that higher level. Just, I especially love how he also kind of switched up his own sound, like, going the high at the frame. Like, I love that first line, how high he goes, brings it down a little bit more, and then Malachi really gives you that underside, like, oh wow, yes, this is really that like concrete that you're walking on with how low he goes. I also love that, that line where he's like, oh, I am talking to the voices, and I'm talking to the voices in my head, and all they do is rattle. I'm like, oh my God, yes. That is like, oh man, in this life, it's a never ending battle. Talking to the voices in my head, all they do is rattle. I'm like, okay, that's such a good line. That is really well done. And I think that one of the things I'm always the most impressed about, just in hearing, that underside theme, but especially in listening to some of Malachi's music, when he brings in those type of lyrics, like he really does a very good job of being so descriptive and bringing in the right type of adjectives to really make your mind like build those type of scenes in its head. And again, when you bring in that mixture and that dynamic of that lower sound with that higher sound with what with what Schmitty does, I love that dynamic and I love their style together. So, but again, you guys, it looks like we weren't able to get him back. That's okay. You know what? We're always ready, for some type of, mishap with our, electronic devices. It can always happen. But again, you guys, I'm really happy and really excited for everybody that dropped by and was able to join us. Episode 32 of the Artist on Artist Spotlight. And this week, we were able to turn that spotlight onto a very special artist, JJ Schmitty. And also, guys, as I mentioned earlier, the third individual artist as the overall umbrella that is Underside Records. So again, you guys, really excited and very truly from my side, an honor and a privilege to be able to have had the opportunity to interview basically an entire team. And not just like, oh, well, hey, yeah, I just brought in everybody because I knew I was going to get an interview. I mean, a separate individual interview with everybody within that team. So it definitely feels really good that I got the opportunity, that honor and privilege to be the one to say, hey, okay, hey, you guys are going to have the opportunity and let me give you that platform so that the people out there, either, that are part of Bozy or whatever, anybody that watches this later will be able to learn more about you as the individual artist, but also just Underside in a general way. So again, you guys, thank you so much for everybody that joined us, all that love and that support. Thank you so much. We are working on getting the next one set up. We might not have it ready to go for next week right off the bat, but we are definitely getting the next one set up right now. So if anybody that is out there listening as well would like to get your own interview set up, right now I am working on 2 more people to get them onto the, to get them set up for a specific date right now. So if you guys would also like to get set up for an artist on artist interview as well, hit myself up or any of the admins within Bozy, and we can definitely be able to get you connected to me so that we can be able to get you set up for your own interview as well. But again, you guys, thank you so much for all that love, all that support, and for joining us today for episode 32 of the Artist on Artist Spotlight. And this week, that spotlight was turned on to a very special artist, JJ Schmitty. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here, for joining us for this episode, and hopefully we'll be able to catch you on the next episode when we're here for the next episode of Artist on Artist, and we're putting that spotlight maybe right onto you. So guys, again, thank you so much. All that love and that support. We'll see you at the next one. Peace and love.
What up? It's your boy RPG. Red, purple, gold. Kilos. Panoramic roof. Bitch, I'm red, purple, gold. RPG. My strength will never fold. My heart is never frozen cold. I'm the best. Yeah, that's what I've been told. 1, 2, 3. My voice has been freely sold. Luxury in my life is all I know. It's all I know. But I will never sell my soul. Never sell it. I won't.